Hello there, beautiful internet and fantastic creatures of the beyond. Let's talk about chromatic aberration and why sometimes it might be useful. Now we're going to display it on a piece that we already finished. And I know I tend to add a lot of noise on the darker backgrounds. It kind of helps to mingle the images better, but it depends. It really depends. Now, it might be difficult to display it correctly because, yeah, YouTube compression, you know? So you guys might not be able to even see it. But let's discuss about it. So I'm gonna disable the film grain. And we have the chromatic aberration over here with 2 R's. So, what does chromatic aberration really do? Well, to be honest, it's kind of difficult to see, but it gives a tiny bevel around here. And it's an RGB element. Now, how did I do it? So basically, I've taken the whole composition and I've converted it to images. Now, this is the lazy way of doing it, just for demonstration purposes. So you go to edit and make a bitmap copy. So this basically creates a PNG out of the whole composition. So I've overlapped all 3 of them and I've set them. So I've set this one, this one, I've set it to difference over here. Now, it's very difficult to see, it's very subtle because I've set the opacity to 6.0, sorry. So it's a very subtle element. If I'm gonna go with it fully, you can already see how horrible it looks. Now, it's very important to know, like I'm gonna leave it around 30 so you guys can see it better. So you see like it's turning red, green and blue over here. And I shifted them a little bit to the side. So I've moved left a bit to the right and up. I left green on its original position and the blue I've shifted it to the right and down a few pixels. And that is all. And if you look here, it gives these beautiful bevels, these shining things and so on. But of course, it's a very strong effect, so you have to be very careful how you apply it. But it does give a lot of depth and 3-dimensionality, but you also kind of need color correction for it. So this is why I went with the difference here on the chrome. So let's put it back to 6. And then for these individual things, for the images, I've went with hue. Now, it's based on taste, you choose your poison. Now, how did I apply the hue with RGB? Well, because the image is gonna be colored exactly as the composition. Well, the thing is, you have to go into filters, filter editor. And for example, for the red, I went and added a component transfer and went with the slope on the linear with a 100 for the red. I did the same for the green and the same for the blue. Now, I've tried different combinations here to kind of set it up, but simple is always better. So I think this is the simplest setup you can do. Now, clearly, I do not recommend doing bitmap copies because they enlarge your file by a lot. So maybe just do copies of your composition without the background and try to apply it that way. But again, sometimes it's gonna be quite difficult to get it just right. So I did a quick and dirty job here just for this example. It's still gonna serve the purpose that I want it to serve. and in order to see it you have to zoom in quite a lot. So this is why I've left it quite subtle, so because I don't want to take a lot of the color away or darken it, but just give it that edge to bloom a little. And you might see chromatic aberration in games usually because it's a lens distortion. Basically what happens in a camera with the lens distortion, when the light hits the edge of the lens and it goes towards the focal point inside the camera where the sensors are, the light is so... it acts like a prism and it separates the colors of the rainbow from the light, and then we get this chromatic aberration. Usually in photographs you don't really want chromatic aberration unless you really know how to manipulate it and use it to your advantage, but sometimes it helps. But you have to tweak it so very slightly, because otherwise you saw what happens if you put it on 100%. Of course there are many ways to apply it, but this is just one way. Although it's kind of a difficult task to achieve, you have to go through quite a few steps. But if you really want to hit that spot, to make these edges pop up a bit better and make the image more three-dimensional, yeah, chromatic aberration is a nice tool to have. Okay guys, hope you like this effect. I sure do. I'll catch you in the next episode. See ya. Bye 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 bye.